Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. Speaking of subscribers, I want to thank everybody so much. The channel hit a great milestone just the other day of 20,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody for all of their support of Sci-Finatics over the course of the last couple of years. Onward and upward, I'll be producing heaps more content this year. So I appreciate all your support to grow and grow and grow. Today I'm talking to you about Star Trek news. In February, we've had a few little bits of news come out in the news recently and things going on in the Star Trek world. A lot of shows in production at the moment, nothing on air. With Discovery finishing, we've got a bit of a lack of airing content at the moment, but heaps of stuff in production. So let's start off with the latest ads for Paramount Plus, which just aired, which showcase some of our favourite Star Trek characters, which are obviously going to take centre stage in this new Paramount Plus streaming service. We've had ads with them all climbing the mountain, the Paramount Mountain. So we've got Captain Pike, we've got Spock, all mounting the summit of this Anson Mount, mounting, you see what I did there? Pike and Spock climbing up the mountain. We've got Spock scanning this puppet for frostbite who has to get his arm amputated. We've got Burnham trying to cross this treacherous bridge that they can't quite get across. And obviously once they hit the summit of Paramount Mountain, we've got Patrick Stewart on the top of that to welcome everybody there, doing a little bit of a dance, which is sort of like, okay, it's a bit of fun. So good to see our characters from Strange New Worlds and Discovery and Picard, if you want to count Patrick Stewart as obviously from Picard, all showcasing their talents in these new ads for Paramount Plus. Now, in Star Trek Discovery news, we've had some recent comments from both Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise about little bits and pieces we should be expecting to see in season 4. Obviously, the show is shooting at the moment. The main cast has kind of been shooting since November or thereabouts, and having spoken to Doug Jones a few weeks back, he was just starting to shoot in January. It seems he didn't start shooting as early as the rest of the cast. Maybe it's a couple of episodes in before we see what Saru's up to. But we get to see, it would seem, a little bit of a payoff in the Grey storyline. Obviously, at the end of the last season, we had that scene with Culber and Adira and Grey talking about how they're going to try to make Grey seen. And Michelle Paradise and Alex Kurtzman have come out to say that we are definitely going to pay off that storyline or that mission that they've got, which seems to imply, are they going to find out some sort of, is it going to be a technological thing? Are they going to have do you remember the Doctor in Voyager had his mobile emitter? Is they going to trying to come up with something that can put Grey's consciousness into some sort of mobile holographic emitter? Because in the context of the hologram environment on the Kelpian ship that Su'Kal was on, he was obviously able to be seen by the others. So extending that holographic environment to some form of mobile emitter, the mobile emitter, I'm pretty sure from Voyager, came from the 27th or 28th century. So clearly mobile holographic emitters are commonplace by the 32nd century. I'm guessing maybe some sort of holographic technology is going to come into play here to make Grey corporeal. Michelle Paradise and Alex Kurtzman also came out to say we've got a bit of a change of things going on for the villain in season 4. It would seem that unlike maybe previous seasons, where obviously season 1 the Klingons were the big bad, season 2 we had Leland and Section 31, which was the combined with Control being the villain, and obviously in season 3 we had the Emerald Chain and Osiro as the villain for that season. But it would seem for season 4 that the villain is non-corporeal. Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise have come out to say that the villain will not be a living, breathing entity. So I wonder whether that means that the villain is going to be a challenge of some kind, I wonder whether the pandemic and the coronavirus, something like that, has played into their decision-making process to make the villain a non-bipedal humanoid type alien, because that's sort of what it's been recently. But it would seem it's going to be something that's non-humanoid. So it also brings me back to thoughts like from Star Trek The Motion Picture. Could it be something like Vija? The Vija entity was like a basically disembodied big giant cloud with the consciousness in it and so forth. So Could it be something like that? But anyway, for season 4, it would seem that our villain is not going to be standing on 2 legs as we know it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for season 4. Paradise and Kurtzman also came out to say that there are going to be some challenges in the Book and Burnham relationship in season 4. Maybe things aren't quite, all lovey-dovey in season 4. Maybe there's a little bit of animosity or a little bit of something happens that puts them a little bit at odds with each other. But they both came out to say that this Book-Burnham relationship would be tested significantly in season 4 of the show. Now, the other relationship that possibly could be tested a little bit in season 4 is the relationship between Book and Stamets, or a bit of rivalry perhaps, because we know now that Book can operate the spore drive, which means that makes Stamets not quite as special anymore. He's got some competition there in the pilot seat. Whether Book and Stamets are going to kind of take turns in operating the spore drive, there's going to be like a roster system, or whether there's going to be some sort of rivalry there between the two, because obviously Book's abilities extend a little bit beyond what Stamets' are in that whole kind of weird ESP thing he's got going on where he can talk to plants and animals. Whether Book is able to delve a layer or two even deeper into the mycelial network and talk to the spores and do weird things that Stamets can't do could be grounds for perhaps some jealousy or animosity between the two. So it'll be also interesting to see how that dynamic plays out in season 4. Another aspect which is going to play into season 4 quite a bit is obviously the rebuilding of the Federation. We got to see a little glimpse of that at the end of season 3 with the Trill rejoining the Federation. We haven't seen the Earth Alliance or the Earth Defense Force join the Federation yet, so getting Earth back on board could be a large aspect of the season. And it would seem like they've undergone preliminary talks with the Vulcans or the Navarans. Do we still call them Vulcans and Romulans, or do we call them Navarans now? Or the planet is Navarre, but it's occupied by Romulans and Vulcans. So I'm just going to say Romulans and Vulcans. So whether we might see Romulans and Vulcans join the Federation now that Saru has got quite a good rapport with the president there, Teresa. Maybe some romance there, perhaps, between the two, as Doug hinted, perhaps, at maybe in my interview with him a few weeks back. In other Star Trek news, Star Trek Prodigy has already started doing stuff on their 2nd season. Kate Mulgrew commented the other day about how they'd be finished doing the voice-over stuff for season 1, and they were already kind of onto doing some season 2 related stuff. She said nothing but praise for the show, and based on the fact that season 2 is already doing production work on, leads me to think we might be getting a Star Trek Prodigy perhaps sooner than later this year. There's a lot of shows shooting at the moment. We've got Strange New Worlds, Discovery, and Picard all either shooting or about to start shooting. There's been a delay with Picard. Picard was meant to start shooting early Feb, but that's been delayed once again, unfortunately, which I'm guessing might have something to do with the fact that Patrick Stewart needed to get his 2nd COVID vaccine. I think that he put a video on Twitter not that long ago showing him getting his 1st COVID vaccine. But whether the production just wanted to play it safe in terms of his health being an octogenarian now, having turned 80, whether Patrick Stewart just to play things safe, let's make sure he gets his 2nd vaccine before we get him out there into production land for season 2 of Picard. I also want to lament the passing of Christopher Plummer, who, of course, from a Star Trek point of view, played the Klingon villain of Chang in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Great Star Trek villain, great Klingon in this original series movie, and obviously a fantastic actor in many, many roles throughout his career. So guys, that wraps up my Star Trek news roundup for this week. I will obviously be back for more Star Trek news when it comes to hand. We've got a lot of stuff going on in production. We've got some probably stuff in post-production at the moment. So as that news comes out, I'll be getting that to you as soon as I can. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out my merchandise, or click on the join button to learn more about becoming a Sci-Finatics member. And I'll be back very soon for my next review.